So apparently we have a doctor, who is sounding the alarm about men who practice nutmaxxing. And it seems like the world that we live in, anytime a man is trying to level up and become the best version of himself, it's always some type of negative benefit that comes with it, man, which is a crazy thing, man. So today, this is why I'm going to be reacting to this doctor, who is going to be going over the negative side effects of nutmaxxing. And hopefully this video is edifying for you guys, and you guys learned a lot from this video. So without further ado, let's get it. Let's go.
50,000 men are currently participating in what might be the internet's strangest self-experimentation project. They're mixing supplement cocktails, measuring results in shot glasses, posting photo evidence to strangers, and documenting everything in spreadsheets. Their goal? To dramatically increase their ejaculate volume, or as they call, nutmaxxing. But here's what stunned me as a urologist. Despite all this activity, almost none of these men know whether the science actually supports what they're doing, what risks they might be taking, or if they're solving a problem that even exists. I'm Dr. Rina Malik, urologist and pelvic surgeon, and I went down the nutmaxxing rabbit hole so you don't have to. Today, we're investigating how to optimize semen volume, including the specific supplements that people are using and what research says about each one, the proven methods that actually work based on science, and what women think about ejaculatory volume. Now let's start by talking about what's normal. The World Health Organization has reference values based on large studies of fertile men, and they found that the median volume of ejaculate is 3.7 mLs, with normal ranging from 1.5 mLs to 7 mLs. And in the past, I actually took a syringe and measured out these volumes and showed you exactly what they look like, and they are not a shot glass full. And just for your reference, a standard shot glass would be about 10 times the amount of normal semen volume. Now, there's a subreddit dedicated to nutmaxxing, as I mentioned, with nearly 50,000 subscribers posting about 600 times a week. They share their detailed protocols, every supplement they're taking, the exact dosages, and then they measure and document the outcomes. And from reviewing this forum, I gathered a few things. Number one is men are comparing their semen volume to porn. Porn is a curated product, right? They use special effects to make volumes look more robust and larger. Number two, they oftentimes have partners who are really into com play. And number three, they think of it as a part of self-optimization. A lot of these guys are already tracking sleep, trying to work on nutrition, workouts, exercise, and they do other biohacks, but they just want to upgrade another part of their body. And through collective experimentation, the community identified what they call their holy grail stack: 4 core supplements that supposedly produce optimal results. Let me walk you through each one and what the actual science says. Supplement number 1 is lecithin. Now they dose this anywhere from 1,200 milligrams to 500 milligrams daily. Now lecithin contains phospholipids and choline, which are essentially components of cell membranes. Now sperm and seminal fluid contain lots of phospholipids, and they theorize that lecithin supplementation might increase activity in the glands that produce seminal fluid, making more of it. Now, when you go in the rabbit hole, they report that this is the most effective component. Reality is there are no human studies on this. There are some animal studies showing higher semen volumes after rabbits and roosters were fed soybean lecithin. Grain of salt, we're not rabbits and we're not roosters. Supplement number 2 is pygium. The dosage ranges from 100 to 200 milligrams daily, and it's an African cherry bark extract. Now, this has some anti-inflammatory effects by preventing prostaglandin production in the prostate. Some studies do look at this for helping with urinary symptoms in guys who have an enlarged prostate. However, the leap to it improves your prostate to it increases fluid made from the prostate into your semen volume is really theoretical, and I doubt that it's doing a whole lot of benefit. Now, supplement number 3 is L-citrulline or L-arginine. I've talked about these supplements before on my channel, and I will tell you L-arginine has the most evidence for erectile function. How these supplements work is they increase nitric oxide, which then increases blood flow to the penis and blood flow throughout the body, increasing harder erections. Now, in the context of semen volume, they're taking this at dosage ranges of 1 to 3 grams a day. And as far as I can see, there's not much about semen volume. However, one small research study does suggest that L-arginine might improve testosterone production at 5 grams per day dosing, which in theory, if you're improving testosterone, it might improve your sperm parameters parameters. However, that doesn't really translate necessarily to volume because sperm really only makes up about 5% of the entirety of semen volume. So even if you increase your sperm concentration or your sperm number, it's not going to really change your volume that drastically. Supplement number 4 is zinc. Now, zinc is highly concentrated in the prostatic tissue and in the seminal fluid, and it's really important for the production of testosterone and sperm. Now, studies do confirm that guys who don't have enough zinc, meaning they're zinc deficient, show improved sperm parameters, specifically concentration and motility. But again, as I mentioned earlier, more sperm doesn't mean more volume. And if you're not deficient in zinc, it's really not going to help. And in general, most people in the United States consume an adequate amount of zinc unless you're vegetarian or vegan or have a very restrictive diet or maybe a GI disorder or have had GI surgery like bariatric surgery. Beyond these 4, people add sort of the extended stack, maca root, which has potentially some benefits on libido and sexual function, but very minimal evidence in terms of semen volume or other sperm parameters. Selenium does have some scientific data on sperm concentration, motility, and the shape of the sperm, but again, more sperm doesn't mean more semen volume. Coenzyme Q10, it's an antioxidant. This again has shown some benefit for sperm production, although the evidence is mixed. Omega-3s, these are essential fats that we need to get from our diet, usually from fish or plant sources like flax seeds or walnuts. They do help with inflammation, they lower triglycerides, and they may have some brain health benefits for cognition and mood, and even memory. In terms of semen parameters, there is some benefit, however, the evidence is really mixed. So I do recommend this supplement for people who don't eat enough omega-3s in their diet, especially if they have issues with their lipids, because it can be really beneficial. And lastly, we'll talk about vitamin D. So I've talked about vitamin D before. It does help with testosterone if you are deficient. If you have normal levels of vitamin D, it's not going to help. And again, as we mentioned earlier, testosterone may improve sperm production. Volume, unclear. And lastly, Tongkat Ali and boron, both of which I've reviewed on this channel previously, and they've seen some benefit improving testosterone. Some of the evidence is really, really small. Specifically for boron, it was only for like 8 people, and no evidence for semen volume specifically. Some other dietary modifications they talked about: one guy switched from chicken to beef, someone switched from coffee to matcha, someone started walking 10,000 steps, and another one ate 4 celery stalks every day, advice that he got from an adult film star. Now another swears by pineapple juice. Guys, none of these specific modifications have shown to have any serious impact on semen volume. In terms of semen parameters, there's a lot of research in terms of diet and nutrition and exercise. And generally speaking, whole foods, especially fish, poultry, fruits and vegetables, are good for sperm quality. Coffee, alcohol, processed red meats, soy, potatoes all negatively impact sperm quality. But again, these are all sperm parameters, right? They don't mean volume necessarily. Now, celery, that's an interesting one because vegetables generally are associated with better semen quality, and celery is also rich in antioxidants, which are good for testicular tissue. And there is a hypothesis that celery extract might increase testosterone and enhance the function of Sertoli cells, which are essentially like nursing supportive cells in the testicles, which help testosterone production. There was a small study of 349 Chinese men, and they saw that dietary celery intake was positively associated with sperm progression and motility. However, no human data shows increase in semen volume. But there are some animal studies that show an increase in testicle and epididymal size. The epididymis is that sort of structure right above the testicle that holds sperm in it, as well as sperm output. And lastly, celery has a lot of water, and as you're going to learn very shortly, hydration has a big impact. Now, let's talk about interventions that are backed by science. And these exist, they're free, and they're more effective than supplements that have really no science behind them. Number 1 is timing ejaculation. If you delay ejaculation, you will have more semen volume, and there's science behind it. A longitudinal study followed 27 men monthly for 16 months, and they collected semen samples and tracked tracked how often they had sex. And what they discovered is that for each day of abstinence, they increased their semen volume by 10 to 12%, with the most gains in the first 4 days. But then there's generally a plateau somewhere around 3 to 5 days, and it doesn't increase much more after that. If you're trying to get your partner pregnant, it can also reduce sperm quality to wait too long. So generally not more than 4 to 5 days. Number 2 is proper hydration. Semen is made up mostly over 90% of water, and your body basically can't make enough seminal fluid if you're chronically dehydrated. So if you drink enough that your urine is pale yellow, like lemonade, you are going to be able to make more semen volume. And again, like that guy who was eating celery, he was probably getting a lot of hydration. And even pineapple, there's a lot of water in fruit, which increases your hydration. Method number 3, strengthen your pelvic floor. During ejaculation, your pelvic floor muscles contract rhythmically. So when you ejaculate, specifically muscles called the bulbocavernosus and the ischiocavernosus, these are located around the urethra. They create these rhythmic contractions. And when you have stronger muscles, you produce more forceful contractions. More forceful contractions make the ejaculate come out more strongly. And ultimately, it looks like you're having more volume because it's coming out more forcefully. Also, it may help you empty the ejaculate from your urethra more completely rather than having some left behind, again, making it look more voluminous. Now, ejaculatory force does decline with age, and that can also make you feel like you're getting less out. Younger men can ejaculate about 30 to 60 centimeters or 1 to 2 feet away from themselves, but as you age, that declines to about half, down to 15 to 30 centimeters or about 6 to 12 inches. And in some guys, it even just dribbles out. And so pelvic floor exercises can maintain or improve this. Now, Eric Leckie, a pelvic floor physical therapist, and I did a video on how to do Kegel exercises in men. So if you're interested in learning, check that out. But there's one caveat. Not everyone should do Kegels or pelvic floor strengthening exercises. If you have an overly tight pelvic floor, it can make things worse. So if you're having pelvic pain, urinary symptoms, constipation, erectile dysfunction, make sure to see a urologist or a pelvic floor expert and have these symptoms evaluated. Number 4 is stay healthy. Medical conditions can really affect semen production. First and foremost is testosterone. If you have low testosterone, it reduces seminal vesicle function, which essentially reduces how much volume you're going to produce. It's also more likely to have low testosterone in men who are unhealthy. If you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, and diabetes, those things put you at higher risk for low testosterone. Now, diabetes is a special one. Not in a good way. On its own, it can cause retrograde ejaculation, meaning that when you ejaculate, instead of it coming out through the urethra, it goes backwards into the bladder. And this makes it obviously appear much less voluminous. And if you're trying to conceive or have a baby, this can be a very negative thing. And the only way you can see improvement is by improving your glycemic control, meaning you're having better blood sugars, you're taking better control of your diabetes. Smoking. Now, smoking damages blood vessels, and it damages all blood vessels all throughout the body, but also those that supply your reproductive organs, including your testicles, seminal vesicles, and prostate, which are basically all the ones that create semen. Chronic stress and excessive alcohol and marijuana can lower testosterone production, so you want to make sure that you're avoiding those. Lastly, check your medications. Certain medications like antidepressants or medications for your prostate like alpha blockers, Flomax, Tamsulosin, Rapaflo, or Silodosin can cause retrograde ejaculation and make your volume significantly lower. Lastly, outside of people who have a fetish for semen volume, does semen volume actually lead to more pleasure during intercourse? So in 2018, researchers surveyed 240 women about their partner's ejaculations, and they found 83% said volume and force didn't really change how much they perceived pleasure. They really only cared about knowing that their partner had an orgasm and seeing the cues that their partner climaxed. Only 17% felt that stronger ejaculations enhanced their own orgasm, and 13% felt that, maybe because there wasn't a volume, they were having some issues with their own self-esteem. But, if they're worried about if their partner had a good time, they could ask. As much as I tell you guys to ask women how they enjoy things, they can ask you too. So if partners largely don't care, why do we care so much? So number 1, it's sort of associated with your visual arousal. A lot of guys do describe being aroused by the sight of their own larger volume loads. It's sort of self-reinforcing, right? And it gives this positive feedback. One person called it the pièce de résistance, the reward for a job well done. Second reason is a sign of virility. So people are psychologically linking these larger ejaculations to more masculinity, potency, and sexual prowess. Even though, again, there's no medical correlation between volume and fertility or virility for that matter. And number three, it feels like it's something you can achieve and track. You can, compared to doing other things like trying to increase penis size or really enhancing your stamina, volume enhancement might seem more accessible. One person on the forum said it's so much easier, there's so much less risk, and quite honestly, it's a lot cheaper. Now, it depends on what you're spending your money on in terms of supplements. But the one thing I was surprised to find out when I was reviewing this forum is that partners don't always react positively. Some obviously love it, but one of the popular posts talked about how his hookups found that his loads were disgusting. Some people like it, some people don't, to each their own. I don't yuck anyone's yum. As a urologist, let me tell you how I would approach this safely and efficaciously. First, start with evidence-based zero-risk interventions. That includes hydration. Try to drink at least 8 to 10 glasses of water a day. Make sure your urine is pale yellow urine. Time. Make sure you're having enough time between ejaculations, at least 3 to 5 days for maximum volume. Assess your pelvic floor. If you have no other symptoms, start doing some strengthening exercise like Kegels. Quit smoking if you can, and reduce your alcohol to minimal, 2 drinks or less, and reduce or significantly eliminate your marijuana use. Address your underlying conditions. So make sure you're seeing your primary care doctor, getting evaluated for diabetes, blood pressure, and get your testosterone checked. Make sure your diet is mostly made up of whole foods, lots of fruits and vegetables, at least 80% of the time. Sleep hygiene. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. That's because good quality sleep improves testosterone. And stress management. This is the hardest one and the one that we don't talk about enough because we don't have like really great options, but try to work on stress management. And you can track it, right? Track your baseline, implement these changes, and measure your results. And I'll bet that you will see improvements without any supplements. Now, if you want to experiment with supplements, I would say wait at least 30 days after trying all these different things and feeling like you've optimized them, and then you can consider it. One, I would add a quality multivitamin. Get vitamin D if your blood test shows deficiency. Consider omega-3 fatty acids for the general health benefits we discussed, both EPA and DHA. And based on this forum, I might suggest trying lecithin at moderate doses. It's a generally safe supplement with few side effects. However, I doubt that anyone's ever going to really publish a study on the benefit of supplementing anything, any sort of supplement, and semen volume, because it's not a real health related factor. It's more of a, this would be nice to have. And so I wonder if we'll ever really know. And I always, with all my patients, say, if you're gonna start something one at a time. Try one change at a time so you can actually see the difference, particularly when it comes to supplements or even medications, right? If I give you 2 medications and you're better, I don't know which medication is really doing the trick. So start with one thing at a time, monitor for a month or 2 or 3, depending on what it is, and then see how you do. And then you can add a second one or omit the one that you're already taking. Now, I strongly advise against mega dosing any supplement without talking to your doctor, taking 10 or more supplement stacks simultaneously, and buying from unverified online sources. Always check where you're getting your supplements from. Check they're doing third-party testing, that they go through some standard good practices for supplements. And guys, remember, if you're worried about fertility, more volume doesn't necessarily mean more sperm. So get evaluated, get a semen analysis. You can get at-home semen analyses. You can order them yourselves if you're curious, and I strongly recommend that you do. So bottom line, can you increase semen volume? Sure, through delaying ejaculation, proper hydration, pelvic floor strength, and taking care of your health. The evidence for supplements is weak, and in most cases, it's really non-existent. And really, guys, no matter how much volume you're producing, what matters is that you and your partner are experiencing pleasure and enjoying each other's company. And the size of the volume, unless you have a really significant fetish for that, shouldn't be a huge part of it. If you guys enjoyed this, please do me one solid favor, hit the subscribe.
All right, so that wraps up the video right there, man. She said a lot of stuff that I don't agree with, but she also said a lot of stuff that I do agree with, like with the stop drinking, stop smoking, get on a healthy diet, start exercising more, and all that good jazz, man. So I give her, she got a little pass on this video. I don't really rock with her, but she got a little pass, man. But the thing that I did not agree with, man, some of the supplements I have used myself, like the zinc, the vitamin D, the especially the maca root, like that really works, man. To the point I had to stop taking that maca root, man, because I was getting wet dreams like crazy when I was on that, man. So that really increased my testosterone. That increased a lot of stuff, man. To the point I had to stop taking it. And I'm not sure if she mentioned ashwagandha. Like I had to stop taking that type of stuff, man, because I was getting wet dreams almost every night at one point, man. So to the point, yeah, like yes, a lot of stuff she was saying was right. A lot of stuff I did not agree with, man, but again, man, it's all to make you guys to become the best version of yourselves at the end of the day, man. A lot of stuff she was saying I didn't even know men were taking, man. And I would say if you guys are taking any supplements, try to stick to more of the natural stuff, like the maca root, the zinc, the vitamin D. Like that stuff we could get naturally. Like that other stuff she was mentioning, like don't even mess with that at the end of the day, man. So again, man, like for all you men out there practicing nutmaxxing, semen retention, trying to become the best version of yourself, man, getting your masculinity back and all that good jazz, man. Keep going on your journey, man. Again, like it wasn't all bad what you were saying, man. It was some good, there was some bad and everything, man. But do what works for you at the end of the day. Anything that's gonna make you become that 1% man, anything that's gonna get you to that next level, get yourself back on good track, man. Do it. I'm all for it at the end of the day, man. So again, man, hopefully this video was edifying for you brothers out there, man. Hopefully you guys learned a lot and all that good jazz, man. So like, comment, subscribe, share the video out to everybody. First, great, the most high. Dig it at any time.